Hello everyone, today's video is an instructional video. Our mini excavator has some flaws in the safety department. Today we implement an additional shutoff for the hydraulics by installing a seatbelt switch. If you own a mini excavator, you may want to add some additional safety factors. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this educational video.
Hello everyone, welcome to Miniman Production. So today is a bit off topic. I kind of took the mini excavator out of commission just due to a safety factor that I was kind of worried about right from the get-go. But what I'm going to do today is just kind of show you what I did to alleviate this problem. So anybody who's buying one of these mini excavators, especially the ones from China, they basically have most safety features intact, but there is one safety feature, and I'll explain it, is it's not like a lawnmower where you have a operator presence switch in the seat. So the hydraulics are basically operated by this switch here, right in there. So that's your hydraulic lock and unlock. But the problem being is, if your hydraulics are locked in and you get out of that seat, then what happens is if you bump any of these controls or anything like that, because the hydraulics are still locked in, there could be a real disaster that could happen. So I'll tell you what happened to me is I was basically doing a little bit of work, getting ahead of myself, trying to get the job done. Hydraulics are locked in. I had a long jacket on, and I get out of the seat and my jacket wraps around the rotation control and it pulls me. So now I'm kind of hanging there trying to get down, and it pulls this lever to the left and the machine starts rotating to the left. So I immediately reached over and hit the hydraulic lock to shut it off. Now, I wanted to rent this machine out, and I've already told a couple people that I won't rent it to them just for that fact. So if you own one of these things, if you bought one, now this is a RIPA. I contacted the place that I bought it off of, distributor, I guess you could call them. Joy T5, and they basically said that there is nothing available for the machine, and it's unfortunate because that is, to me, a huge safety factor. So what I decided to do was there was two ways that I could do it. First of all, I could replace this seat and put in like a lawnmower type seat with an operator presence switch in it. The second option was to try a seatbelt style of disconnect. So in your vehicle, your car, this is the original one, by the way. All right, so there's the original one. And they're pretty close. I have to admit, they're pretty close. So these are them side by side. So they're pretty much the same thing. With the difference between the one that I've got here is it contains a wire. So like in your vehicle, this wire connects up and it'll either give you an indicator on the dash that the seatbelt isn't fastened, or it'll give you a buzzer or a bell or something like that while you're driving if you don't have your seatbelt locked in. So what I'm going to do is I've already did a test on this, what I hope is going to work, and I just wired in. You can see now this here is basically your power wire that goes to the hydraulic system. So what I did is I just spliced into it and I put a switch in, and it worked like a hot damn. So it would basically, if that switch was engaged, I could shut the hydraulics off with this switch, which will tell me that if this seatbelt works, then what will happen is if you unbuckle your seatbelt, it will automatically disengage the hydraulics. Okay. And I'm sure that happens many, many times. In a 200 or 300 series excavator, you usually have a lever on your left-hand side because it's closed cab. You usually have a lever. You hit that lever, folds up, and basically gives you a little piece across your entranceway. Usually made out of rubber. I have seen them in steel, stuff like that. So if you do get out of the seat, well, first of all, you're kind of blocked from getting out the door. Now, the unfortunate thing about an open cab is you would have to have 2 levers on each side, which would mean you'd have 2 kickouts. That's something I didn't want. I wanted to keep it simple. So unfortunately, even in a 200 or 300 series, you can still get out of the cab with the hydraulics locked in. And to me, I don't really understand is why they wouldn't put operator presence switch in the seat. I don't really understand that, but hey, I'm not a manufacturer, so. But with this machine, before I start renting it out or letting anybody operate this thing, is I'm going to make this thing as safe as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm first of all just going to test to make sure that this wire is going to work, because as you can see, it's a pretty small wire, okay, in comparison to about, oh, we're looking at probably about a 16 gauge, somewhere around there, 18 gauge maybe, something like that. So I'm a little worried that this here is going to be a little bit too thin. All right. Now I can't go in there and change the wires because of the way that it's set up in there. So I'm gonna do a little test here and see how well this is going to work for me, and if I feel that it's gonna be a good fix for people getting out of the seat with the hydraulics still locked on and maybe accidentally hitting a lever or hitting over there, you know, which is basically your stick control and whatnot, stick and bucket control. So I'm a little afraid that this isn't going to work too well because of the small wires, but I'm going to test it anyways. Okay, so I'm going to prep this here. So what I probably could do is just put a couple of little pigtails on there, but I think I'm going to I think I'm just going to snip this off here. Maybe I'll make it a little bit longer here just to save grease here. So keep that there. Alright, now this is just protective. Whatever. I'll snip a little bit of that off. Snipping the wires. Alright. Now we'll put this back on. Okay, there we go. Alright. Yeah, these wires are pretty small. Not too sure if I like that. But, not sure. Now, I'm not too sure if this is a like an open circuit or closed circuit. I'm not really too sure about that. So I'm going to pull this switch out here. Okay, so that was the switch that I had just for doing a test. Take that out. Alright, so I'm just going to hook up these because there's no positive or negative. So let's just see what we got happening here. Just do a quick little thingy here. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I'm going to fire this thing up and see where we're at. Okay, so the best thing to do is just fire it up and see if we got hydraulics. So let's just see what we got here. choke. Okay, so let's hit our hydraulics. Okay, so basically the hydraulics are coming on. Okay, see everything moving. Okay, so let's shut that down. I'm going to hook those wires up the other way. Okay, so I reversed the wires. No, it doesn't work. Still got hydraulics. Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't work. But I'll bet you if I plug the seat belt in that it's going to shut them off. So let's try that. Yeah, so there you have it. With the seatbelt in, the hydraulics are shut off now. Doesn't matter. And we want the opposite. We want it so when the seatbelt comes undone. Okay, well, looks like back to the drawing board. Okay, so I pulled the seatbelt apart here, and as you can see, that's what it kind of looks like inside. So I have a strange suspicion that if I am to swap these two wires, then that should reverse the way that the seatbelt works. And there's only one way to find out, and that's to unsolder these two wires and switch them around and see if that works. So let's stay tuned. So round number 2, I'm going to take, let's try this wire here. I'm going to take this wire and move it to the center one. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, but let's try it. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, so I had to do a little bit of modifications to this seatbelt switch here. And so I tried swapping wires from wire to wire, from terminal to terminal. And what I found was from a normally open circuit to a normally closed circuit was basically just getting these two wires hooked up there. So I did a test on there already, and I'll show you here again. Okay, so right now, if I turn it on, okay, we've got no hydraulics whatsoever. Okay. So no hydraulics. So we'll just plug this in. Okay, and there we go, we got hydraulics. Okay. Alright, so there we go, we got hydraulics. Now what happens, you kind of feel the hydraulics there. Okay, seatbelt, you undo it, and we got no hydraulics. So I'm just going to tidy up my little solder job here, and then we'll get started installing this. Okay, so I managed to clean up those two little terminals there, a little better solder. What I found out was this here, the plastic protective part, casing, it doesn't snap back into place. It's almost like it's just one piece and then they just press it in there. So I used some really good plastic bonder and put it in both sides of the two plastic pieces and then pressed them together. And then I thought, well, just for added protection, I'll just put a little bit on the outside there as well. So I've used this plastic bonder before in many cases, and it's pretty nice stuff. So also I just made up this wiring harness here. It's about 6 feet long, and I'm just gonna put some protective wrap on there now, and just make sure everything's protected and whatnot. So okay, so I've got this here all protected and whatnot. So which way do I gotta go here? So probably up through here. Should fit into that hole, hopefully. And we'll pull a bunch through. Just like so. Alright. Okay, and then we'll get this pigtail back here. Should be hopefully enough. Alright, so there we go. Yeah, and we'll just basically cut her to length once we get this here kind of set where we want it here. Yeah, that should be pretty good. Alright, so that's good. Now the rest of this here, we gotta get her down into here. Alright, so let me just kind of get her over there. That's what we gotta do. I think I gotta. Alright, should be able to maybe grab it over here now. Here it is. Okay. All right. So this all the way through. Make sure everything's good. Okay, and okay, I think we're looking pretty good. Just leave a little bit of slack in there. All right, I think we're looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this down. I just want to see if this wire is gonna get kind of pinched or anything. We don't want it to be up against anything that's gonna basically be, so I think we're looking pretty good. Okay, so next, I kind of already did a dummy run of this. So what we're gonna have to do here now is grab just hang on here. Would help if I would leave this over here, but I decided that I didn't have to. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, just like so. Okay, so. Okay, so now I basically look to probably stick her through about right here. There's quite a bit of room in there. I don't think it's going to rub or anything like that. So just got to kind of get her up. I'm just going to follow this one here. That's what I'm going to do. Try and get her through there. And just grab it and bring her through. Alright, that should be pretty good, I would think. Okay. Alright, and yeah, I think we're pretty good here. It's fairly loose, and we can bring this up. We'll tape all those together. Alright, so we'll do some soldering here. Get those two soldered on there, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so there we go. So wires are soldered, everything looks good. So I just put another chunk of wire protector here just to be safe, especially around here. This probably gets pretty warm, being that that's the hydraulic lines and whatnot. So we'll throw this back together here. It's basically held on by these 3 bolts, and yeah, we'll just see what we kind of come up with. So this should hopefully go back on as easy as what it came off. It's easier said than done. So I just don't want to get any wires or anything here. You know, we just don't want to get any wires or anything to basically. Okay. All right. So let me put those there. So I think we might just have to. Okay, so now all this stuff has to line up, is what it has to happen. Right, and this might be the fun part here. So it's not helping me too much here. There we go. Just like so. Okay. Alright, now these rubber boots are kind of a pain in the ass, but this here will just kind of do that. Alright, so I think I can get this side in. Oops. Gotta kind of lift up on her a little bit. let's just get this side in here. Alright, I think I can. There we go. That side kind of in. Alright, this side. Try and get this all wrapped up in here. Looks pretty good. Gotta lift up a little bit. And thinking. Okay, got our bolt. Should be lined up here pretty good. Alright, and is that all in? It's looking pretty good. Now this one here. Okay. Alright, I think we're looking pretty good there, I think. Okay. Alright. So I do believe this is a 13 mil, if I'm not mistaken. And this one here. Alright. Could be a 12 as well, but I think it's a 13. I'm going to get an extension. That one should work. Alright. So. Okay. And alright. And last, not least, that should be good. Okay, good. I think we're looking pretty good there. Okay. Okay, so I got the cover back on. That's all on. And then I just tucked the wires in here, zap straps, zip ties all the way up and up to the seat. So now all I got to do is, there's a floor panel that goes in here. I don't want to put that in yet, just until we test our contraption here. All right, so I'm just in the process. Just cut these wires at the proper lengths. I'm just going to remove some of this wire protectant and put on some heat shrink, protect the wires and whatnot once I solder them. Some of this off of here. Fold them back. Oh, I got some wire there as well too. Okay. Let's give that a little cut. Okay, that's good. Alright, so now I'm just gonna lift up and get this out of the way. So, okay. So, let's just get this here stripped back. That. Alright, so before I forget, put some heat shrink on here. I don't know about you guys, but how many times I've Went and did a soldering job and then realized I either put it on the wrong wire or soldered the wrong wire or whatever. Next thing you know, you got no heat shrink. If you're like me, I just take some black tape. So I just gotta be careful. These wires are very small. Now I don't know if I'm gonna have issues down the road or what's gonna happen here, but the nice thing is that now I have the wires in. I now have the wires in for putting there's like a little clip here. I'm gonna get the wire back in there. So just to make sure everything's good. All right. Okay. Now it shouldn't matter which wire. I think what I'm going to do is just do a little test here to make sure that, just to be safe here, I think I'm going to do a little test just before I solder this all and then find out that there is a positive and a negative. I don't think there is, but I'm going to test it just to be safe. Okay, let's fire this baby up here and we'll see if she works. Choke. Okay, so the way that they are right now is the way we'll leave it. Alright, so get a little bit of a connection here. Solder. Make sure I don't burn anything here. Maybe I'll do it with my left hand. I got one straggler there, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Okay, so try and get this one on here now. Try and do a little better of a job here. Okay, same thing, try not to burn anything. This might be a little bit kind of cockeyed here. Good. It's a problem when you're working with these Small wires like that, yeah, tend to burn up. Sometimes they'll even just, flame will just burn the wire right off. I'll push those up. Get some protective stuff on here. And okay, so there we go. Okay, let's get that shrunk. Good. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to get this protective layer here back on our wire protector. Okay. All right. Just like that. Okay. I think I'm gonna. I got another little chunk here. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So let's just maybe go up to there, maybe. Something like that. Okay. One protective doesn't like the other. Just gotta get her started. Just like that. Okay, so that's that. Make sure that's still in there. Okay, that's good. All right, so I think what I can do is put a couple pieces of tape on here, just to hold her. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to just put something to hold this in place. So I think the best thing to do is maybe go right there, and I can put a screw into this here. It's just plastic. There's no sensors or anything. So what we can use for that is, alright, let's get this here set up. Something like this here maybe. Yeah, try that. Looks pretty good. Right. Screw's a little long, but let's see what we can do with it. That looks pretty good, to tell you the truth. And we maybe can bend that a little bit. Just so it's a little bit better. Okay, so let's have a look. I think that looks pretty good. Just gonna take that out. Now, because of the seat, so the seat slides forward, so we want to make sure that everything works out there. We're not hitting any wires or anything. So the wire's a little long, but that's okay. But if somebody slides all the way back, then I think we'll still be good. So I'm pretty confident we don't need to go back in here again, so I'm just going to bolt this down here. Okay, and if we slide all the way back, what's happening here? Just make sure we're not tearing anything out. I think I'm a little worried it's not long enough here. Okay, so here. Alright, so that should be okay. So let's slide this back now. Make sure we've got lots of room. Okay, that's as far as it goes back. We've got a little bit of slack in there. That's good. Okay, so let's unhook it. Alright, let's try this puppy out. See how she works. There we go. Come forward a little bit. There we go. All right. Okay, so switch is on. Nothing. Nothing. Seatbelt on. Okay, seatbelt is on. Secured. Good. It's good. Pops off, green light goes out. I think we're looking pretty good. Well, I think we're looking pretty good. So that's pretty much an easy fix. The nice thing about it is if this doesn't work, you know, like this hasp or seatbelt part was bought on Amazon. So, I mean, you know, the way I look at it is if this fails, then I still have a seatbelt. I can put the old one back on and just replace the seat and then just go to maybe a operator present type of seat, like basically that you would put on a lawnmower or something like that. So hopefully everything works here, but we'll keep you posted. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys learned something. about the safety of these mini excavators. The one thing I wanted to mention was, I have mentioned many times in my other videos, that the center of gravity on these machines is way up here. It's, you know, the weight of it is all at the front. If you're running like a 200 or 300 series, as you know, even the smaller minis like a Cat Mini, they have counterweights at the back, so your center of gravity gets pushed back a bit. It would be nice to have that center of gravity more here, you know, into the operating cab, but that's not the way these are built. Okay, so that's another thing to remember if you're thinking of purchasing one of these mini excavators. On that note, I'm going to go and have a nice cold beer, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe if you'd like, and we will see you in the next video.